Aloha ia Navai o Nuʻuanu. Nuʻuanu is located just south of downtown Honolulu and is a very well-known place on the island of Oahu. Nuʻuanu Valley has many streams and famous bodies of water. There was so much water flowing in the valley that the ancient Hawaiians grew enough kalo to feed the entire island. Now we have dams and reservoirs that keep the water from overflowing into the valley. We got to sit down with Mr. Arthur Ayu of the Board of Water Supply, who shared with us lots of information about the waters of Nuʻuanu Valley.
Well, the Board of Water Supply, we take care of the reservoirs, but in and around the reservoirs that we take care of here in Nuʻuanu are what we call watershed lands. And these are basically forests that we take care of. And the forests are a really important part of our water cycle, because that's actually one of the beginning parts. It catches the rain and helps direct that water underground. And the groundwater, the water that seeps underground, is the important water for us, because that's where we actually pump our drinking water. So we take care of the reservoirs in the watersheds, and the watersheds take care of the rain that helps direct the water underground so that we can pump sufficient water supplies for drinking and for all our freshwater uses.
What is the purpose of each reservoir?
The purpose of each reservoir primarily was to prevent flood control. You may know Nuʻuanu Valley rains quite a bit. With all that rain, there's a lot of rainfall that collects, and the reservoirs were built purposely to prevent flood control, to prevent floods from flooding the valley. But in the early years when the reservoirs were built, there were other purposes. We did use the water in the reservoirs for drinking. Back then the water quality was really good, so they could use it for drinking. They could also transport water from the reservoirs down to Honolulu Harbor, and the water was used for steamships that came to port. So the ships back then needed the water to operate the steam engines. And then there was actually another reason. In reservoir number 1, back in the early days, up to about 1930, there was a hydroelectric plant. So they could actually generate electricity with water power, and it lit the lights in Honolulu City from 6 p.m. to 5 a.m. And then another purpose with the hydroelectric plant was they used it in the sewer system. They could actually help the sewer system move the wastewater through the sewer pipes to what they called lift stations, so they could treat the sewer water.
What would happen if the reservoir overflowed?
What would happen if the reservoir overflowed? Well, we hope that will never happen. There was an incident just last year in October where we got quite a bit of rain, and our reservoir number 1 caused us some concern because the water got really high. And then we ended up needing to pump water out of the reservoir. What would simply happen is if the reservoir did go over the top, it would actually empty into the streams that are below it and hopefully take it out to the ocean that way. But after that incident that we had last year in October, we installed at the Board of Water Supply. The Board of Water Supply installed siphons at reservoir number 1 that will actually help prevent any kind of overflow. So when the reservoir reaches certain heights, we actually start siphoning or start draining the water out of the reservoir so that the threat of overflowing wouldn't happen. We're also concerned about reservoir number 4. We have a construction project that's going on right now, and that will help us even prevent any incidents of overflow. So we're fixing the threat, and hopefully that will never ever happen. But the overflow of a reservoir would simply empty into streams that are on the other side. And basically it would be emptied into Nuʻuanu stream that flows through the valley and then actually exits out into Honolulu Harbor.
There are 6 different springs in the area: Kunawai Nui, Kunawai Iki, Kawai Olena, Kukuhanu, Kalua Pololo, and Kalua Mo'o. The clearest mode at Kalua Pololo is a miracle for irritated skin and hair that is falling off. People could bathe in the various ponds with the permission of the Mo'o, supernatural people in old Hawaii. The rest of the springs were drilled out and were turned into wells at Kunawai Nui is the only one left, which is now a city park built in the 1960s. Water comes bubbling up the holes at the bottom of the pond, which is home to ducks and fish. Preserving these resources helps to protect our community and our future through flood prevention and ensuring we have drinking water for the generations to come.